Yeah, motion to open meeting.
Second.
Okay, roll call, starting with Michael and going around.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
me, Aisha.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion to take the, so somebody wants to join the call. This would be Kathy. I'm clicking on it. Kathy, admit. Thank you, Kathy, for joining us. And we're just going to actually, if I could have a motion to switch the order of the agenda so that the first item on the order is the America Schools grant.
I'd like to make a motion to, oh, yeah, go ahead. Michael. Second.
Okay, I didn't hear the motion. Michael made the motion and it's.
That's so moved.
Okay, so we'll go around in a circle. So start with Aisha to vote on the motion to adjust the agenda to take the America Schools grant first.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Ollie, yes. Okay, so we've now rearranged our agenda and Kathy Stanley is the star of the show. I really appreciate, this was very last minute that I asked you to join us, so I really appreciate it. And what I have done, Kathy, is I have forwarded one of those, perhaps one of the earlier drafts of the technical section of the grant application, and also the letter that Kathy had done the beginning of this letter, and I just tweaked it a little bit, and I forwarded to the committee the revised version of the letter. And I think what's really before the committee is whether or not we should, I would say two things actually, subject to debate. Should we write this letter of support? Do we want to do that? And then secondly, and I don't know which issue comes first, is whether we might want to tweak some of the description a bit with respect to our committee and its participation. But let's let you go first and tell the committee what this is all about.
We can't hear, or I can't hear.
Oh, you're on mute, Kathy. There's a story of my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody hear me now? Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So we have an opportunity to apply for a Renew America Schools prize, which is what they're calling it this year. This is an opportunity for us to apply for some grant funding that will allow us to pursue electrification of our schools at Stoughton. Our plan is to go full bore, full out, and apply for a grant that will allow us to install geothermal wells in the triangle between the Wilkins, the middle school, and the high school. In sufficient quantity, this is the, pie in the sky version, right? In sufficient quantity of well capacity to do geothermal at the Wilkins and the middle school, and then down the road when the time comes for the high school, either to have those wells installed now or be able to expand the well field so that we could potentially electrify those three schools and treat them almost like a campus. This allows us to utilize tax credits, grant funding. It's a huge project. It would take a lot to get done. It's a long shot. I'm not going to kid you. It's a real long shot, but you got to take these long shots. This is how things get done. You got to do it. And we have this amazing team in place at the schools that includes Joyce Hussein, and as well as Dennis Rigo, the new facilities guy, Fran from town purchasing, Brutinetti, who is amazing. I can't even imagine what it would be like to try and do this without her. Jonathan Ford, who's also amazing, and some other folks at the school department who are helping to pull together some of the detail that we need to be able to do this. So it's a really great group. We're also working closely with Molly and Nathan to ask our committees to support this. What we're going to need from you is a letter of support telling the feds that, yeah, we think this is a good thing to do. We need to electrify our schools. We need to get rid of fossil fuels, reduce or eliminate our carbon footprint. And you have a special place in the community. You have the ear of a lot of folks who care about this planet and our efforts to become sustainable. So we're asking you to help us to get the word out to your fan club, which we know exists out there. And down the road, there is a cost share component to this. If we were to get the grant, I mean, it's 2 stages, 2 more phases we have to pass along to get it. But if we were, We might have to go to town meeting at some point and ask them for some money to help us pay for the cost share. So we're hoping our committees will help us get the word out to the people that care about this and support us at town meeting if that's what we need to do. So that's what's going on. The grant is due June 13th. Thank God, because if I have to do this any more longer than that, you know, Nathan read the technical narrative over the weekend. He is an angel for working over the holiday weekend, and made lots of edits, all of which were good. I have worked with Nathan many times. He has a successful track record getting federal grants. So, I mean, all this talent, right, that we have before us, and we should use every single bit of it. And that includes all of you. So that's why I'm here.
That's just a threshold question, and I know everybody's going to have a lot of questions. What would the time frame be of knowing when even the grant or the prize was awarded? What is
So
that?
there's 3 phases. The first phase we know in August, and the first phase is a $300,000 grant. It doesn't have a cost share. We use that $300,000 to do what we need to do. We have some things we have to accomplish in order to make it to phase 2. That includes doing an ASHRAE level 2 audit for every school building that we have. In order to be eligible, we have to have at least 10 buildings. We currently have 8 schools, but we have a concession stand, we have a maintenance building, and we have modular school building, which is a separate facility from our middle school. So the feds say that counts, so we're going to make the push. So the first thing happens is in August, we hear about whether we made it through phase 1. If we did, then we're going to need that 300 grand to get our ASHRAE 2 levels done. This is not in my scope of work right now. I am working outside of my scope, kind of on an almost volunteer basis at this point. There's no way I could put this grant together if we get the phase 1 on just volunteer time. So that would help pay for me or someone else that you wanted to hire to do this for you, to put this grant together. Phase 2 is we would need to go through a procurement to hire a firm to come in and do the turnkey work. They would do the development work, the engineering work, the ASHRAE level 2 audits, as well as put together the implementation plan for phase 3. So it's 3 phases. The second phase, you get $500,000 to develop the implementation plan. And the third phase is up to $7 million for the actual implementation. The $7 million component is where you need the cost share. But potentially you could come up with the cost share out of direct pay tax credits. So there's a bunch of different, there's a lot of moving parts. Fran and I would need to really hustle to procure the right firm to help us with this. There are several who have great track records with the feds. So that's how it would work. The first phase, the first kind of benchmark timeframe is August. Then we have a year to develop the ASHRAE level 2 audits, and then we move into the phase 2, which is negotiating with the feds for the level 3 funding.
All right, I'll let people ask questions. Maybe start with Aisha and then go in a circle. Aisha, I can't hear you.
Oh, I said I don't have any questions.
Okay, all right, thank you. Rachel?
You kept saying that we needed for phase 2, we need to improve our levels. What levels are those?
We need to do an ASHRAE level 2 audit of each
ASHRAE
school.
level 2 audit. How do you spell ASHRAE?
It's an acronym for
Okay.
the American Society of Heating and Refrigeration Engineers. ASHRAE.
R-A-E.
All caps. All caps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a very specific type of energy audit.
Okay. Laura, questions?
Well, you asked my first question, which was about the timeline. Are there any, so the letter of support or, letter of support, what needs to be included in that? Is that just?
So I drafted a kind of pretty plain vanilla template for Molly to work with.
Yeah.
So whatever you guys come up with is fine. We just need to deliver a letter of support from our the folks who are willing to help support us here with the application.
Okay, and do you need like public support or signatures too, or it's
Nope.
just from the Climate Action Plan
Just
Committee?
a letter telling us that you are willing to help us.
Okay. And then is there any downside to this? Because
Not
it
at
seems
this
to me
level.
like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
we just do this? You know,
Right,
it
not,
may be a long shot, but there's no downside.
right,
Also probably like, even if we don't get the first phase grant, we can use this kind of thing for future grants. So,
yeah, sure, because there's a lot of work that went into this. So we're
Yeah.
hopeful. Federal grants are notoriously tricky. I mean, but a lot of the decision-making is based on the fact that we're in an environmental justice community, and that matters.
Mhm.
So that's important. So we have a shot. I think we have a shot. We've been working hard on it.
All right, Michael, your thoughts?
Kathy, I think you said this grant is worth 300,000.
The first phase is 300,000. The second phase is 500,000, and the third phase is 8 million. 7 million. 7 million. Sorry.
If we were to, on the obviously off chance that we were to get to that 7 million, would we still have to go? Do you have any sense of what we'd be asking town meeting for down the road?
25% cost share for the project costs.
And the cost of the project would be,
I don't know.
Roughly.
That's all to be it would have to be developed, but probably somewhere between $6 to $7 million.
total?
As far, I mean, that's a real. I don't know.
I know, okay, but so you'd be asking the town for 25% of whatever that figure would be.
That's right. Now we might get that back in a tax credit if it was geothermal. Potentially it would. But these are, the devil is in the details here, and there's 2 years and a whole boatload of engineering to be done between now and then. So who knows? Who knows? Certainly, if we went to the town meeting without your support, I don't think that would be good.
Can I ask one more question? Oh, after Michael, sorry.
Are any other boards, committees, et cetera, drafting letters in support?
Yes, the energy committee is, and every principal has been asked to draft a letter of support for this. And we have those.
And in terms of the letter, you obviously know a lot more about these grants than I do. The only thing that sort of stood out to me was that there's nothing particularly specific. We're going to do outreach. We're going to be liaison with the community. Is there any reason for us to be any more specific and say we would hold meetings, we would do things we would actually do? Or is it fine just saying?
I think it's fine just saying you support the project. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So the only comment I had is I want to I want our committee obviously to take the action that we can consistent with who we are as a committee, which is not a standing committee. I also want to be reasonable and not maybe misleading to the Fed in connection with this application. In other words, I want to say we will reasonably believe we can do such and such to support this. So our committee is supposed to have a deliverable, I would say within 2 years of June or July. So I'd say June or July of 2025. Now, as part of that deliverable, which is an actual report, and that's God willing, the consultant can get it done in that time frame. They might need a couple of more months. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Certainly part of a climate action plan would be community engagement with respect to the report. So in other words, I'm believing that it's reasonable that our committee would want to have some community engagement, introducing the report to the public, talking about it. So whether that's another month or another 2 months or another 3 months, but we're not a standing committee that goes on ad infinitum. So clearly, I think by the time the phase one decision would come down and through the middle or to late 2025, we would still be a committee that can do the things we're saying in this letter, community engagement and discussion. And it's a great learning piece, quite frankly, for the community, because everybody's going to talk about this and be like, what's up with geothermal? Why are you electrifying these buildings? Blah, 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 blah. So it's a beautiful piece for community discussion, but we are not a standing committee that will necessarily be around in 2026 or later. I think everybody understands that. So as long as that's not inconsistent with the fact, unlike the Energy and Sustainability Committee, they are a standing committee. They'll be here till 2050. As long as that's consistent.
I don't think that's a problem at all.
Okay. And I do think, again, everybody's read a climate action plan. It's all about community engagement. And quite frankly, it's all about electrification of the municipal and school buildings. So
Yeah.
to me, it's right up the alley of what we would want to support, in my opinion. All right.
Can I ask one more question?
You certainly can. It's important.
So given that this is phased funding, so the first year we get this and we spend it on XYZ, and then the next year we get this and we spend it on XYZ. Is there any, so say we get through phase 1 and phase 2, but we don't get to phase 3, for example, is there any terms of that money that would require us to pay anything back? It's just once they give us the money to do X, Y, and Z, then you do that, and it's not tethered to anything that happens in the next phase.
That's correct. As far as I understand. As far as I understand the grant, there's some people suggesting that people should go out for the grant just to get the 300 grand because it's a givey,
Yeah,
we would definitely use it to try and go after the
of
rest of
course.
the money.
Yeah, but that's helpful to know. Thanks.
All right. Anybody have any other questions before? And if not, if everybody's had enough discussion, does anybody want to make a motion? I think the motion would be to say that specifically that we would agree to be referenced as a part of the team for the application, as you've seen the application, and agree to submit the letter of support. That would be the motion if anybody wants to make that.
Kathy, when do you need this letter by?
It's due June 13th, and our plan is to have all of our documents in place by Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so by the 31st?
Yes, please.
Okay. That can be done.
I move that we agree to serve as a reference on this grant application and to submit the letter as drafted by Kathy and edited by Molly Cochran and submitted to the committee.
Wait, would Kathy be the one writing the letter of support, or would we be drafting the letter of support? And
It's already been drafted, Kathy.
Yeah.
then I,
Yeah, the draft of it, as I've already edited it.
Mhm.
Let's just say the draft to and agree to support the letter as
oh, support.
submitted to the committee for a review, and just leave both names out of it.
Okay, I second.
All right, so I'm going to ask for a roll call vote, and I'll start with Aisha. I couldn't hear you.
You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, hi. Yes. Could you, all right. We're just taking the roll call on the vote to support the application and submit the letter of support.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rachel?
Yeah.
Laura?
Yep.
Michael?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So that is a unanimous vote. That's very exciting. So Kathy, I'll get you a pretty version of this letter. I obviously can scan, I'll scan and email it to you with my
Thank
signature.
you.
Okay, and I really thank everybody. I thank you for joining us and explaining this very complex process. I thank you and the schools for the very hard work you're doing on this. And I'm very excited that it's like, go for the gold, go for what we can and take great strides forward, and we'll just cross our fingers.
Thank you all very, very much for this time. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Kathy.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a good evening. All right, we're going to go quickly through the other agenda items. I did promise you it would be a short meeting, although obviously,
Aisha just left. Is that, I don't know if she's coming back.
that's a problem. Let me just
Maybe she lost.
try to get her to call back. Okay. Aisha, it's Molly. Can you jump back on the call? We have just another important item that we need to go over. If you can jump back on, please. All right, I'm also texting her, and then I just heard from Janet, so let me reach out to Janet too. Hold on. All right, now let me try Janet. All right, so
Looks like Michael just dropped off.
sure.
Could be a connection thing.
That's true. That's true. Let me try Janet since she just contacted me. All right, I got her. Hi, Janet. Hello, Janet. You're in the theater. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll try Aisha again. All right. Bye. So that's a no from Janet. So I keep trying Aisha. If I could just get her on here for 5 minutes. I'll keep calling her. I'm sorry. Because, all right. And there she is. All right. Let's try it again.
There
Oh,
she is.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry, Aisha. All right, we're just gonna go very quickly. I told you it'd be a short meeting. We have to go over the open meeting law complaint. Can I just explain that for a minute to everybody?
She's on.
Okay, thank you. You're on. All right, so Aisha, an individual is a town meeting member who attends all our meetings, filed an open meeting law complaint. I have discussed it with town council, and her issues were with the timeliness of minutes and the quorum. So I have discussed both issues with council. It was important for us to address this as a committee, and then I'm going to report back to council tomorrow. And quite frankly, I can give him some very specific updated information on both of those issues. I actually have a tracker for the meeting minutes. I can tell them exactly when they were delivered. And I will tell you, which people don't know, I can deliver the minutes for posting to the town clerk. There may be a delay. In fact, I found out that minutes that were delivered to the town clerk in March were still not posted in May. So that will be made clear in our response. We 100% take minutes and have great minute taking and great timely moving ahead with those. And then the quorum, I think, was a matter of discussion. We'll continue to discuss it, but I think we have had 5 people at all our meetings, which is very clearly, undisputably a quorum, except for, I believe, 2 meetings. Maybe there was a 3rd meeting, and I will report that back to council. He will respond to the open meeting complaint, and we will take it from there. Obviously, it's, to be on the conservative side, it's always best to have 5 people. Maybe I should do more follow-up the day before, whatever, just reminding people, because some people, I'm sorry about that. And this has been weird too, because we've had meetings off cycle. So that is our response to the open meeting law complaint. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me now before we go? And looks like Rachel has a question.
2 questions quickly. One is that I was at least one meeting with only 4 people, and that was a meeting that we didn't vote at. That's not okay. To just have one that's an informational meeting, listening to someone talking.
We had a meeting.
It is video recorded too.
Right. No, in a meeting, you should have the quorum for the meeting, or you should probably say, we'll have to come back for another date. There was one where it was really low, and I said Bill Roth was there, and I said at the beginning, okay, let's call this an informational meeting. Then 2 more people came, so I think we were fine on that meeting. But and quite frankly, if Kathy Stanley had been here and there were just 3 or 4 of us, I would have said, let's just listen to Kathy Stanley. It's not a real meeting, or maybe not. Maybe the answer is no. We should say we just got to shut down, and we'll just have to reconstitute that. So I'm going to try to work harder on reminders. I have to say, people have things, right? People have family crises, they have illnesses, they have travel, which is just insane. So we're really doing a good job overall. I have to say, I'm very impressed almost a year into this, and we'll just continue to do a good job. And in any event, so I think we will. Any other questions, Rachel? Yes.
The town clerk, there was some kind of disruption in the town clerk's office around the local election. Could that have had any part in the delay in the minutes being posted?
That would be pure speculation on my part. Yeah, so I just don't know. I would also say, like, on their behalf, there are many town committees.
They are amazing.
I don't know how many.
This is not at all a complaint about the town clerk's office. It's just that they are such a hub that if anything is happening there, then the effects spiral out.
I am not we are not the only committee who submits minutes every 2 weeks or every month. There might be like 14 committees that do that. So like anybody else, there's a workload. There's, you try to do your best. We've always been trying to do our best as a committee. All right. The last thing I have before we talk about next meeting is a review of the minutes.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. Didn't mean to cut that off.
Okay. How many members do we currently have on this committee?
We have 8 members on the committee.
That includes John Malley?
So John Malley resigned in September, and that was relayed to a select board member.
Right. Oh, okay. So who am I missing?
Well, Kathy Stanley is not a regular voting member. She's more of an advisory member. Oh, who are you missing? So James Conlon.
Okay. So explain to me what that means in terms of a quorum.
That's what was still under discussion with council, and there was not a determination. So I'll let him make the determination based on this information. What
he Kathy, not just so John Malley's. Okay, that clarified. That helped.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 8, and that's our full complement then, right?
8 people is our full complement. Yes.
Okay, good. And I did have another question, and I'm trying to remember. Give me 1 second.
In the meantime, I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do we want to look for a 9th member that we can ask to be appointed to John Malley's seat, or is that?
I certainly don't oppose that idea.
If
So
one of us knows someone who is interested in it, who would be able to attend to meetings and who is passionate about this topic and is in line with the direction of the committee.
supports the mission of the committee.
Yes.
Yes,
That is a very important distinction.
yes. All right, Michael,
But here's, one issue around that. We're allotted, I mean, the members are spelled out in the article, right? That established us,
oh, not the names, but the number, yes,
the numbers, the
numbers.
appointments, et cetera.
to be appointed.
So- We can't just add one without,
Oh, no, we can't add one. The select board would.
Yeah,
have-
it would be asking the select board to approve a ninth member.
well, in that case, doesn't that have to be opened up to the public?
Yes, it would have to be someone who we think would be approved over any other people volunteering.
Yeah, but others would have the opportunity
Others
to.
would have the opportunity, and they would have the opportunity to be questioned by the select board and to make their answers in front of the select board.
Okay.
I don't know if that is strategically a good thing or not, but I am just asking to have the opportunity.
No, it makes sense. As long as it's somebody who's gonna show up regularly.
Yeah,
The other question is always, every time you add somebody, you risk your quorum, you make your
exactly.
quorum
Yeah, oh no,
so much more
all of
difficult.
my friends have young kids, so I actually don't know if I could add someone who would be able to attend, but I could look.
Yeah, the only other thing on this, I would, Molly, I would definitely second your suggestion about checking in with people. I know with some of the other committees I'm on, we do a quorum count the day before and or the day of. And that way, you know, in advance and you're certain. And if you have to reschedule, we reschedule sometimes. Oh, that was my other point.
Okay,
I would really, I would be hesitant about even holding what you're calling informational meetings when we don't have a quorum, because you are skirting the open meeting law, where you're not supposed to be having any conversations. I mean, some of the committees I'm on, and you're good at this too, no conversations outside of, even emails and so on. So just for the future, and only because people are paying attention, as they should, I would always wait for a quorum.
Mark, and I just think that there was that one moment when Bill Ross showed up and it was kind of
Oh,
like,
I know.
but I agree.
On that night, actually, Jim Conlon showed up at 7:10 and I got there at 7:30. So
Yeah. It
did
was
work
that
out
first
ultimately.
20 minutes, because I was
Right.
taking the minutes, so.
speaking of which, thank you so much for stepping up and taking them.
Yes, so we will put in our agenda at the next meeting, perhaps an election of a new secretary. So, but that will be sometime in June. All right, so I just wanted to, does anybody want to take any comments on Rachel's minutes? If I can move on to Rachel's minutes, if that's okay. Next on the agenda, I know we're kind of going back to the first item, which was the minutes that Rachel prepared. Does anybody have any comments? There might be like if there's a whatever typo you want to comment about, I have
Let me open up the draft too.
just so as you know, I'm always the person who makes like the little comments. It's full committee. They all laughed at me, but there's just a couple. I thought it was very thorough, beautiful. I see a date at the top. I think. A date.
Yes.
Okay.
It's saved under a date, so I forgot about that. So I
Okay.
will edit it now.
Okay. And page 2 has a reference to improvements along Ventral. I think that's supposed to be Central Street.
Yeah. Yes, Central Street, not Ventral Deet.
Yes. Okay. Page 3 at the top. Molly says thank you and to enjoy the game. What game? You can just delete that. All right. And that same page, the smack appearance of Joe Feaster. I'll spell his name Feaster.
Got it.
Okay, does anybody have any other proposed amendments to this meeting, which was what, April 8th? Was that the date?
Yeah, April 4/8/24, and I just fixed another couple of spelling errors. So
Okay, anybody else have any other proposed amendment? I'm sorry, edits to these amendments from April 8th?
Motion to approve the minutes from April 8th as amended.
Any second? I can second, I guess. Okay, Laura seconded. All right,
Yeah.
so I'll just go to the circle. I'll start with Aisha, yes or no? Aisha, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
hear me.
Okay, Michael,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yeah.
Laura,
I wasn't at that meeting, so
okay. You'll
I'll
abstain then?
abstain. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll vote yes to that. All right, so we have now adopted the April 8th minutes, and if you send me a final version, Rachel, then I will send them to the town clerk's office for posting and put it on my tracker. And the last thing is, we're just not even in recovery from town meeting, which has another meeting tomorrow. And then after that, I will send emails just with respect to dates for a meeting in June. And I would also like to reach out to see a date that works. Also, I will reach out to MAPC. I would love for them to join us in a virtual meeting in June and see. So I'm just gonna have to send out emails to get dates in June, and then we'll get people's a sense of vacations through July and August. And we'll meet as much as we can with whatever quorum we're advised to follow, quorum rules by council. And I think definitely with MAPC on board, we're gonna make progress. So I'm excited about that. All right, does anybody have anything else to add before we, somebody might make a movement? I'm sorry.
Just quickly, how quickly should the minutes be sent out afterwards? Because I actually don't know.
Oh, I believe, I like the words reasonable time is in the open meeting law, but also suggests 30 days. And that's 30 days to actually get it to the committee, get it edited, get it back to me, and have me send it to the town clerk, at which point my job is done. You know, if they can't post it in 30 minutes or 30 days, there's nothing we can do about that. So that's what's suggested. But I think there's a rule of reasonableness, whether it's because, you know, we can't have a meeting because there's not a quorum or because half of the people are on vacation. That's why I think that rule does read reasonably. And I would tell you honestly, I think we're on the cutting edge of compliance with meeting minutes. I think we really are.
Oh, fine.
I mean, yes, absolutely. There's no issue there. So I'm very happy with the professionalism of the minutes, and I really appreciate Michael taking on that work. So anything else before we adjourn? And then we
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
okay, all in favor, Aisha? I can't hear you, Aisha. Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Thanks, Aisha. Michael, yes.
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
yes. And we'll see some of you tomorrow night.
Well,
at-
night. Can't wait.
And I'm excited and looking forward to it. It's just going to be awesome. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much. And it was a long commitment. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.